Do you have an abundance of quail eggs coming out of your hutches and you're wondering what to do with them all? Today I'm going to show you how to make the perfect omelet using quail eggs. Hey guys, welcome back to another Slightly Rednecked video. Again, my name is Chris. If you're not familiar with this channel, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or heck, even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. I've had some requests from viewers recently to do a lot more cooking videos on my channel, so today we're going to make an omelet and we're going to use quail eggs to do that. So the ingredients are pretty simple today. I really like fresh herbs and peppers in my omelet, but it's wintertime so I don't have any of that stuff right now. So I'm just going to make a simple ham and cheese omelet. What I've got here is a dozen quail eggs. I've got my quail egg scissors. If you don't have a pair of these, you need to pick some up. I'm going to show you how to use them here in just 1 second, and I'll leave a link down below where you can get a pair. Super handy to have around for quail eggs. Just got a bowl to crack my eggs in. I've got my skillet. I'm using a cast iron skillet, a small skillet, heating up on the stove behind me. A little bit of bacon grease to grease the skillet with, add a little flavor to it. If you don't have bacon grease on hand, use a little bit of butter, some olive oil, whatever. You just need a little bit of something in the pan to kind of help the egg not stick to the pan and slide around a little bit more. And we're not going to need much of that because I've got a well-seasoned cast iron pan. All right, let me bring you in close and we'll get into it right away. First thing I've got to do is I've got to crack all these eggs, empty them into a bowl, and that's where the quail egg scissors come in incredibly handy. Again, if you don't have any of these, I'll leave a link down below. But basically the way they work is kind of like a cigar cutter, pretty simple. You just put them on the fat end of the egg, leave the skinny end down, the fat end of the egg, and you squeeze them closed. They chop the top of the egg off, and then you just dump the egg out into the bowl. Just like that. Super easy, especially if you want fried eggs and you don't want to scramble your yolks up or anything like that. So let me get all these emptied into the bowl and then we'll come back with the next step. Alright, so my pan's heating up here. It's been warm and I'm going to use just a little bit of bacon grease. It's not much at all. And what I want to do is kind of coat the side of the pan with it a little bit. Get the sides, just a little bit of grease on there. And then again, just needs a little bit. Let that melt in real quick and then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Alright, so here's all my quail eggs all in the bowl. There's about a dozen here. I find that a dozen makes about the same as the equivalent of a regular 3-egg chicken omelet. So this is the amount that I like to use. Pretty simple. I'm just going to scramble them up with a fork. Get them all scrambled real good. You know, I find when I'm using chicken eggs for an omelet, I like to add a little bit of milk or a little bit of water to it to help it kind of fluff up. I find that quail eggs don't really need that, so I don't mess with that. Now, I don't salt and pepper beforehand. You could add some salt and pepper to this if you wanted to, but I always do that after I get done cooking it. Salt and pepper to taste at that point, especially not pepper because pepper kind of makes eggs look a little bit gray, kind of weird, so always hold off on that until after cooking. Pretty simple process. We're just going to pour the egg into the skillet. Get your spatula here. And as it starts to cook a little bit, this is a pretty hot skillet, so it's cooking pretty fast. I'm just going to pull the edges in a little bit and let the egg kind of work its way back out around. And I'm just going to keep working my way around the skillet as I do that. And eventually it's going to get to a point where the egg does not want to spill out anymore, which we're almost there. You can see it's not wanting to spill out too much and fill up. So when that happens, when we get to that point, right about there, we just pick the skillet up, swirl that egg around a little bit. That gives me kind of a little bit of a lip on the edge of the skillet to fold it with, to keep it all together. There we go, that's cooking pretty fast. Now we're going to add whatever ingredients you want in the egg. Again, this is just ham and cheese, but I think fresh herbs, especially oregano, goes really well in omelets. Basil I like quite a bit, but I don't have any of that stuff right now. So you could add mushrooms, whatever you want. I'm just going to add all my ham and cheese to this. And I'm going to take my fork, I work my way around, loosen that egg up a little bit, and then we're just going to fold it over and kind of help it get folded over. These are going to be kind of delicate. Now the other thing I do next is put a lid on it. I don't have a lid that fits that pan, so I just put another cast iron skillet on top. We're going to let that set for It's not going to take more than just 2 or 3 minutes at the most. You want to keep an eye on this. You don't want to overcook your eggs. At least in my opinion, I think eggs are better a little undercooked than they are a little overcooked. So this is only going to take just a minute or two, and this will be done. So you want to check it fairly frequently. You should be able to see once the cheese all completely melts, and then use your skillet or your spatula a little bit, kind of pry it up. You can see the egg's not quite completely done. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but you'll be able to tell it's still just a little bit liquidy right there. So put the lid back on it for just another minute. And that's probably plenty enough. Let's see if it's holding together right. Yep, looks good to me. We're ready to move it on to our skillet, or to our plate, I'm sorry. And there we go, we have an omelet. And just a side note here, if you cook with cast iron, this is one of the reasons I really like cast iron. You can see this is a well-seasoned pan, just a very little bit of grease in there, and there's nothing left in the pan. I always like to clean these pans while they're hot. This is a pretty hot pan. I just take a paper towel, and I'm just going to wipe it out. And there we go, that pan is clean. There's no other cleaning that needs to be done to it. It's ready to use the next time. And the only thing that's left to do is to add some salsa, ketchup, salt, pepper, whatever it is that you like on your omelets. I like a little bit of salsa and a little bit of hot sauce on mine, and it's ready to eat. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, God bless.